start getting into it and you don't have a kind of a feel, right, of who I am. So, my name is Dr. Shakira. Okay. I am a naturopath and board certified iridologist. In iridology, I'm able to look into your eyes and tell you what's happening in your body. So, yes, I can see your uterus, your liver, your spleen, your gallbladder, all of that is told through the eyes. And from there, I know exactly what personalized plan you need. Recently, I've done a rebranding where I focus mainly on women's health, with my 90-day hormone reset program. And this program is designed for the 9 to 5 woman in her 30s and 40s. Okay. And the reason why I chose that is because this group of women, they're more tired, right? They feel that they can't do anything about their health because by the time they get home, they're too tired to do anything. They're too wiped out. And when you're too tired, you're not even going to have the brain power to even get up and do anything for yourself, right? Like you're not even going to have like just the mental capacity to say, let me get up and cook this meal, or let me get up and stretch, or let me get in my herbal teas. Like you're in survival mode. And so what I'm doing is I'm helping to bring those women out of survival mode, right, into a more thriving environment within themselves so they know that it's possible to heal. And this was my mother's story, and when she was in her 30s, I was a little girl. I didn't realize that this is some of the challenges that she was dealing with, like the fibroids and even endometriosis. And so I wish that it was someone like me that spoke her language and say, hey, I am here for you. Because we had a lot of healers. We have a lot of healers, especially at that time. But a lot of them, yeah, they were focused on womb health, but it wasn't like a bat signal that was like, hey, I'm here for the tired 9 to 5 woman. And I have this amazing program that I laid out just for you, that you can do this simply, and it's not overwhelming. It's not intimidating. A lot of people don't start healing programs because they find it intimidating, right? Like, oh my God, you're all the way up there, and I'm still like, didn't even get on the starting line. So I want to make it easier and more comfortable for women to come to me who's in that state and say, you know what, I can do this, right? So that's just the backstory. Okay. Now, for all of my other clients and even male clients, if I can work with you and you feel called to work with me, you can take the survey and we can get started. But I will refer you if you feel that you want to be referred to another practitioner, another naturopath. I know a couple that will help you, but I do have a lot of my veterans that are men. And if you still feel called to me, let's do it. All right. So without further ado, we are 4:44 minutes in. Let's begin. Okay. So endometriosis, let's talk about it. The first time I heard of endometriosis was, I think I was about maybe in my early 20s. I just turned 21. And my mother, we were like at IHOP. I clearly remember we were at IHOP. It was my 21st birthday. And I don't know how these conversations came up, but she was just telling me how um, she was diagnosed with something called endometriosis. And I said, well, what is that? And she was like, don't worry about it. It's your birthday. Right. Like, and so I just, that was the very, very first time I've heard of it. I heard of it again when she told me when I was around 24. And that's when she gave me the iridology story. And if you don't know, my story of how I got started in health and wellness was, my mother told me a story of how she had this ache and pain. Medical doctors couldn't figure out. They were in every test and still in pain. She goes to an iridologist who looks into her eyes, and 2 minutes later, he says, you're having a gallstone attack. And so that's what led her into more, she was already health conscious, but more so into the health conscious community. She passed the gallstones and she was able to keep her gallbladder. And so not only did he detect that in her gallbladder, but he also detected endometriosis. He told her, the iridologist told her, like she had, or what was called, endometriosis. Now, I'm not sure how every practitioner's approach to health is. I don't typically name diseases. The only time I name them is so that the person that I'm talking to, that I'm serving, can have an idea of what's happening and how they can solve their problem, right? And so that's what he told her, that she had endometriosis. And based upon the symptoms that she was having, he asked her, and that what was showing in her uterus at the time. And I believe she was 29 years of age. And so after we kind of delved more into it, and I kind of got an idea of the symptoms, right? Painful cycles, heavy cycles, pain during sexual intercourse. And so still didn't really have an idea. And then once I started really getting into the like health and wellness space, studying naturopathy or naturopathy, that's when I really started to learn more about this challenge, right? This symptom. Again, endometriosis is another blanket term for a symptom. Fibroids, symptom, menopause, symptom. All of these are symptoms, and they're really debilitating symptoms of the root cause of what's happening in the body. And I'm literally a firm believer that if we don't really understand what's happening with our bodies, how are we going to fix it? Right? If we just slap a name and oh, I'm in pain, and I take something for the pain, that's not solving your problem. And so you really are not getting a clear idea. Let me just cancel that out there. You're not getting a clear idea of what you need to solve this problem. And so that's what I'm here to help you with. Okay. Hey, love, my book got returned. I ordered back months ago. Are you able to deliver? I'm not sure. Are you talking about the Iris Papers book? Please put it in the chat. I did send out an email to everyone. Put it in the chat. Okay, let's get right on it. Yes. Okay. So please email me and I will get back to you on that. Okay. Email me trulyfree8128. Email me trulyfree8128 and I will get back to you on that. Okay. And my email is info@holisticapalace.com. Info@holisticapalace.com. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support too. I really appreciate you. All right. Thank you. Truly free 8128. Okay. All right. So back to it. Okay. So we're going to share the screen. We're going to get into really what this is. And again, you won't know how to heal yourself unless you know exactly what's happening inside your body. All right. So there we go. We're going to share screens. I see y'all coming on in. Oh gosh, I always have to share my full screen because make sure y'all hit the like. Please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Okay. Where are we at? Where are we? No, that's not the one. Alrighty. Family, 1 second. I'm going to share for a second because I got to find it. I don't know. I literally just have it, but you know how it is. You know how it is. Just hang tight, y'all. Hang tight. We come. There it is. I'm like, I guess I didn't recognize what I had did. I was like, where is it? All right. We back up on it. All right. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe and please share. I mean, definitely. You know what I mean? Please. All right. So let's get in to it. Can you guys see my screen? Can you see my screen? Now I can't see what you're putting in the chat. I can only trust that you see my screen. Okay. So I remember, and I'm going to tell you a story. I had a client, this was about 5 years ago, and she had like debilitating fibroids. I mean, this is all interrelated. And I think at this time, she was already in her mid 40s, and even though the fibroids were removed, I told her, okay, here is at the time it was called the Goddess Blend, but now it's called the Golden Womb Support. And so I said, well, you still need to make sure to heal your uterus, for scar tissue, because when you have fibroids removed by a myomectomy, which they take the fibroids out by leaving the uterus intact, scar tissue can still be there. So you want to still work on your uterus. And she was so frightened that she was going to, like, her cycles were going to come back. I mean, the story she told me, that she would be at work and she would get up from the chair and it would be soaked in blood. And it's so many women with that story, the heavy bleeding, the pain. I mean, it's horrific. The whole bed, everything. So here we're going to get into it. And I really, 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 really need your attention. Again, before we get started, please share this live, okay, let's get the algorithm. All right. We are really on YouTube. We are really here for y'all. I am really here for you. All right. Hear me now, sister. Okay. Now, what is endometriosis? Okay. Now let's look at the word, right? Without being too fancy. Endo means inner, right? And I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this after I do it. Endo means inner, metri means uterus, and osis is a disease, okay? And the reason why I did that is because, again, it's just naming the symptom, a disease of the inner lining of the uterus. That's all it is. Okay. So now we're going to get into the root as to what's really going on here. All right. Let's turn this phone off. All right. So what is endometriosis? Tissue like the uterine lining grows outside the uterus. So this abnormal tissue begins to grow outside of the uterus, separate from the uterus lining tissue growth that happens during our cycles. All right, during your menstrual cycles. And this tissue, it bleeds as well. And it causes inflammation, it causes the pain, and it also causes scarring. And it affects your ovaries, your fallopian tubes. It also affects your bladder, your bowels, and your nerves. So simply put, it's like the uterus spilling over into places it doesn't belong. That's exactly what's happening. So I want you to paint that picture of, if that's your story and that's something that the doctor told you have, now we can picture as to what exactly is happening with your body. Your body decided to grow this excess tissue that the body knows is not supposed to be there. And so it's going into places like your bladder, your bowels, your nerves, that it doesn't belong there. All right. So why is this excess tissue happening? Okay. Now, we hear this word estrogen, estrogen, estrogen. I have so much estrogen in my body. My hormones are out of whack. And that is the story, right, for a lot of women when they enter their 30s and their 40s. Let me tell y'all something. Story time again. I made a post 3 years ago on Instagram. I said, hey, y'all, I was kind of addressing all the people that I went to school with, because we were all turning 29. And I said, listen, ladies, we're about to hit the 30s. So things might be changing, right? You're going to start noticing that it's not easier to lose weight like you did before. And those of you that, may have kept like more like a slimmer physique, you got to be careful, because sometimes if you're not careful, your hormones slow down, like your thyroid, and you can put on weight easier. So I just kind of made a post and said that, like, hey, be mindful of, your hormones, your weight gain, and all of these different things, because your body is not equipped the same as it was in your 20s to handle all the things that we be doing. And so here we are, right? And so we are in our early 30s. And a lot of women in that time period, this is the experience now, noticing slower hormones or hormone overload, especially in with the estrogen department, um, hair growth. I noticed that, and I'm gonna be honest, when I was around 29, 30, I was like, oh, what's happening here? And that's when I knew, okay, let me get my hormones in place. My androgens were a little elevated, right? So certain things that I was doing specifically for my adrenal glands and my kidneys, and we're going to get into that. And then I noticed that the hair growth stopped. Okay, so if you have challenges with hair growth on your chin, and more so it's favored on one side of the chin, like if it's on your left side, then that means we need to focus on your left ovary, right? It's more on your right side, then that's like the right ovary, more so on the chin hairs. Okay, and that just indicates estrogen and the androgen testosterone is out of balance. So estrogen feeds endometriosis, right? It makes it grow and spread. Why? So again, and if you watch any of my last videos, I definitely want you to watch it. And when you this live ends, you're going to get other links to watch my other videos. And this is for those watching the replay, right? And you guys, I can't see the chat, so go ahead and put questions in the chat if you have questions. Go ahead and do this, because this is a debilitating dis-ease. So we don't want to discount that, right? Women are in pain, tear-like pain, because it is very painful, and there's different stages to endometriosis as well. Okay, depending on what levels of inflammation that you are experiencing, right? So why does estrogen drive endometriosis and make it grow? So estrogen is the female hormone that is responsible for stimulation of tissue growth, right? So you have your main precursor, which is called pregnenolone, that helps to produce hormones like estrogen. And during your cycles, it's going to signal estrogen and progesterone to work together in synergy, to estrogen to grow tissue, and then the progesterone to come in and say slow down. Okay, so when the estrogen doesn't slow down, right, and then your cycle is over, and what happens is once your cycle is over, it determines you have, okay, are you with child, so that this egg can travel. Once the body realizes you're not with child, well, now the tissue growth has to stop growing, right? That's when the estrogen levels would drop and your progesterone with it. But what happens is the estrogen stays high and the progesterone stays low. And so the body, because it doesn't have a pregnancy or fertilized egg by the sperm for that excess estrogen in the tissue growth that you have, well, now it's going to mimic that, and all of that excess tissue is going to go somewhere, and it's going on the outer rim of the uterus. Okay, so that's what makes it grow and spread. And then your progesterone stays at a low level. Okay, so progesterone normally balances estrogen. It's like the sister, like, hey, we work together. You need to slow down. But in many women, it is low. Okay, and I have a couple notes here from like a few studies from the NIH, National Institute of Health. All right. And there's some long studies there. So I take my time to read them so that I can put it in its most simplest form for you. Okay. Hormone imbalance equals heavier periods, more pain, and fertility struggles. Think of estrogen again as the gas pedal and progesterone as the brakes. Okay. So now we're up to this part. You're probably like, what causes the progesterone to be low? Why is my body not signaling correctly to say, I need more progesterone? I need more of it, right? And the reason why that is, Remember that grandmother hormone, that precursor that I was telling you about earlier, pregnenolone? Remember that? And again, don't forget, like, share, and subscribe if you are enjoying this live. Like, share, and subscribe. My voice. Like, share, and subscribe if you are enjoying this live. Okay. So that pregnenolone precursor, right? The same material that makes pregnenolone makes your stress hormone too, which is cortisol. Actually, let me back it up. The same hormone, the same material that makes progesterone makes cortisol too. And so what happens is the reason why progesterone and is low again is the cortisol levels are elevated. Your adrenals are tired. Okay, so now because your adrenals are tired, your body is like, oh my gosh, I'm tired, I'm stressed. And then most women, when they have adrenal challenges or they're overly stressed or the cortisol is running rampant through the blood, see, when the cortisol is running through the bloodstream and you're not in any real danger, well, the body perceives a threat. When you experience like thought anxiety, like anxiety thoughts, fear like thoughts, all of these different thoughts that causes you to be like hyper aware, like you're hyper alert, but there's no need for it because it's a perceived threat, right? And so, but the body doesn't know that. So it's producing more cortisol. And so now it's going to prioritize the cortisol production over the progesterone. So the pregnenolone has to choose, am I going to prioritize cortisol? I'm not going to prioritize progesterone. I'm going to prioritize cortisol because she's in danger. I mean, we got to take care of her. So danger over reproductivity, danger over fertility, danger over the female hormones for stability. And that is why your progesterone is low, constantly in a non-threat that the body perceives as a threat. Are you following me here? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. So this is why it is so important to take care of your nervous system, but also take care of your gut, which we're going to get into, because the gut has specific bacteria receptors that when the gut bacteria is off, it's going to signal the part of the brain for fear that, okay, I'm not calm. Alert, alert, keep me on high alert. You're always on edge. You're always in defense mode. And the excess tissue growth was so interesting, how it grows excess tissue on top of the tissue that you're already growing during the menstruation period, is you are perceiving a threat that doesn't exist. And now the body does. So you have to produce what? More defense, more tissue. Are you following me here? The body is constantly trying to defend you. Even the brain, that's what the brain is constantly like defending you. So whatever it perceives, even though it's not quote unquote real, it makes it real. And that's why thought is food. And that's going to be a whole nother live. Okay. These lesions release chemicals that irritate the nerves. Okay. So we're going to go into these chemicals a little bit, right? And the reason why I have to, so that you can understand that the immune system plays a role in this too. So, and this is what I got from the NIH. And you can find this is the research on the NIH, right on these articles. So over time, the nerves become extra sensitive, right? Chronic pelvic pain. And these lesions around the endometrium release chemicals that irritate the nerves. And those chemicals are, it's from your immune cells, your mast cells, your macrophages, which usually engulfs, eats up poor bacteria, poor poor cells and leukocytes. That's an immune defense cell. Okay. Now, these specific cells, when they notice that there's like these lesions, this excess tissue that doesn't belong, they're like, what is this doing here? Alert, alert. We have a problem. So the body is so smart, it's going to communicate with other parts of the body, other cells. Cells communicate all the time. Matter of fact, your cells are communicating right now. They're always in communication. They're always firing off signals so that they know what part of the body needs help. So these immune cells release powerful substances into the pelvis, right? And those include serotonin, histamine, and there was one more. But we're going to focus on serotonin and histamine. Now, this heightens nerve sensitivity and it makes the pain signals more stronger. So it fires it off. That's why a lot of women with this challenge, some women are not even able to get out of bed. And if that is you, please stay to the end, because I want you to walk away with valuable tools, right? We're not focusing on the more so the problem. I have to show you more of the problem. So when we get to the solution, you're like, she hears me. She knows my story. It is time. Okay. It is time. Okay. So now your histamine is mainly stored and released by those immune cells, right? And so what happens is it goes into the uterus, into the pelvic area. But what controls the histamine levels? If anyone can put it in the chat, if you've been following me for a while, you know what I'm about to say. And I always say every dis-ease follows there. And it's what? The histamine levels are controlled by the liver. Now, when the histamine levels are high, again, that means that there's a problem in the body. It needs to go to that area because it needs to let you know this doesn't belong. So we have to send more signals there so that it becomes the tissue, the nerves become so sensitive. And that's why the pain is so horrible. And so if you are still, you have all of these flare-ups, the liver is fatty, and the liver is supposed to detoxify the excess histamines in the body. And what happens is when your liver is fatty, congested, it's not functioning the way it's supposed to. It's not able to clear out that excess histamine. And so, which is an immune response. So now all of that is still in your body and it's shooting nerve signals into your pelvic region. Okay. So the root is, it's not focusing, oh, I'm going to just drink chase tree berry or dung kai or wild yam root. It's not just focusing on those herbs for the womb. We also have to focus on the root, which is your liver and your gut. Pain isn't in your head, it's your body responding to irritation and inflammation. So a lot of times your doctor may say, oh, it's okay. Like they really think that the pain is not bad because they're not feeling it. But you point to that chart and you say, listen, 1 to 10, I'm at a 10. So it's not in your head, it's real. But you can literally reverse this and live a healthier life and not own what is called endometriosis. And instead of you saying, oh, I have this debilitating disease, you can say, oh, I survived and thrived this name called endometriosis. Okay. Oh, I think I stopped sharing. Let me make sure. All right. I think I stopped sharing. I'm going to share again. Okay, let me get all of this stuff I would do. All right. Let me share again. It kind of like just stopped. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. All right, how we doing? How are we doing? We're ending. Because I don't want to, I said 30 minutes. All right. Are we there? Yes. Oh, what's going on here? Whoa. Oh no. Oh, okay, I see. I'm like, what's happening? All right, stay with me, y'all. Stay with me. Those of you watching the replay, we're here and we're here. All right. So I'm just gonna add a couple things because I didn't add it to my slides because again, there's a lot that I have here from the studies. And let's look at it. So there are different like levels to endometriosis that has been created over time because the more inflammation that we are seeing today, the more subtypes that is created for different diseases. And so there are three subtypes. There are superficial peritoneal lesions, which is more so the lining that lines your abdominal organs, your stomach organs. It's like that lining there. Ovarian endometrioma, and deep infiltrating endometriosis. Now, this is the one that is super, super painful. And it's endometriotic lesions that infiltrate the peritoneum more than 5 millimeters and cause severe symptoms. Okay. And so that is the one that I was referring to, where it's super painful and it has gotten more deeper into that peritoneum, that lining of your stomach organs. That actually was so interesting about the peritoneum. That actually signals. That's why the pain is so much, because it signals other areas of the body, specifically the nervous system, that it has anti-tumor genesis, which it prevents tumor creation. And what it's going to do is going to keep you in that pain-like state. So it's constantly protecting all of your abdominal organs, and one of that is your uterus. Okay, and so if you are experiencing any of those subtypes, then that's what it is. But when you go to your gynecologist, I mean, they're not going to tell you to focus on your liver or your gut or you have gallstones. I want to say 100% of the time, but because you know you can't really say that, but almost 100% of the time, women who are dealing with endometriosis has gallstones, has gut issues, okay, has liver issues, has an inflamed liver, has lymphatic immune defense issues. Okay, these are the areas, these are the roots that you want to focus on. This is your lineup to healing now. So now I want you to reprogram your mind. You're not a victim anymore. You're not a victim anymore. It is time to get out of that so that now you can focus on the real root. Endometriosis is the symptom, but the real root is your gut and your liver. So flushing your liver for a healthier gut, your liver and gallbladder and immune system. That's what my Flush Your Liver Challenge is going to help you with. And I'm going to drop the link in the chat. You can download my free ebook so that you can get started with flushing your liver. Okay? Then you lessen inflammatory responses with, I put the semicolon there. Avoiding mucus causing substances that will cause the flare ups. Alcohol is detrimental. First of all, it's the first, like the liver can't, the one drink, even studies show that even if you're a social drinker, it's still almost the same amount of damage as if someone who's a regular drinker, because your liver can't even process that amount of inflammation at once, even if it's one drink. So if you are dealing with this and you're still like, oh, I still have this life and this social life. Well, it's time to really rethink some things and get serious if you don't want to feel this pain anymore, right? So eliminating alcohol is like the number one. And then your other inflammatory mucus causing foods like your dairy and um, all of your dairy, anything that comes in the form of dairy, seafood, right? Shrimp, crab oils, right? All of that's out. Okay. But I talk more about that in my 90-day hormone reset program. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat for you to fill out a survey. And if you feel called to work with me, let's get started. Because I do have a plan in place to help you to do these so that you're not alone, right? I'm just giving you some valuable tools that you can walk away with today. My goal is to help you to solve your problem. We talked about your story. We talked about the pain. We talked about all of that. I brought you this far. I can't leave without at least, I need to make sure, okay, she leaves with some sound information where she can start today. And if you are a man on here and your wife is dealing with this, your sister, your daughter, they can leave with this information too. Okay. So whole fruits, veggies, and omegas. Now, what's so amazing about omegas is that omegas are amazing for estrogen and progesterone, right? We have an omega deficiency problem. That's really what it is. Like, really, because see, omegas are fatty acids. And what's so interesting, again, your hormones are made from what? Cholesterol. Cholesterol is produced from where? Your liver. Again, when I say that the root is the liver and then the gut, I stand on that. I really mean that. I mean, every time I research a so-called disease, it always comes back to the liver. Like somehow, some way. There's always a connection, right? And so this omega, what happens is the omega helps the cell to have a stronger barrier against infection, against inflammation. And then what it also does, it helps your hormones communicate better. So now your estrogen can signal the progesterone and vice versa. The progesterone can signal the estrogen and say, we don't need any more tissue stimulation. It's time to slow down. And omegas get the job done with the communication. Okay. It's like the omegas is the phone, like the Wi-Fi, and you need Wi-Fi to be able to communicate. Like you need that server, right? And so that's what the omegas come in at. So you want to make sure that you are taking omegas and not from fish, from plants. And this is what we have here: plant-based omegas from algae, from fruit seed oils, right? And I have to be honest, ever since I started taking this consistently, I've noticed a huge difference in my metabolism, huge difference in my thyroid. Because again, another story, and we're going to stop sharing the screen. In my early 20s, after I started studying iridology, part of the requirement in school was that we look into our own eyes. And so when I looked into my own eyes, I noticed that I was prone for a thyroid deficiency. Now, I didn't have it at the time, but it was something that can possibly come if I didn't address it. So I knew that at the age of 24. And so I started working on my thyroid, taking bladder whack and sea moss and all of these different things. And then once I learned about Juice Plus, let me turn this off. Once I learned about Juice Plus, and then that's when I started taking the omegas. So it's like, this is a non-negotiable for me, especially like all hormones, your thyroid hormones, your adrenal hormones, your female hormones when it comes to estrogen and progesterone. And then also your androgens as well, which is your top androgen is testosterone. Let me turn this off. Okay. And then we have the superfood. Now I'm going to put all of this in the links so that you have access to that. And you can go ahead and get these items. These are your valuable tools. Okay. The middle one, that is my liver flush kit. And that is what's going to help you, again, on a full root level. All right. Flushing your liver, doing the liver flush is a 7-day process. And you see my package. It comes with the liver herbs. It comes with a colon cleanse. It comes with my liver chi butter. And it comes with magnesium citrate. Now, magnesium citrate just helps your gallbladder to expand to 1/3 of its size so that when it's time to get rid of that waste, any gallstones in there, it's able to do that. Because you'll read online, right? Don't be a Google doctor and say, can I pass gallstones safely at home? They will tell you no, it's dangerous. But with this method in place, it's not. And this method is inspired by the great Andreas Moritz, who was also an iridologist. May he rest in peace. And so it's designed to not be for you to not have pain. You can pass gallstones safely in the comfort of your own home. That's why we have the entire list in place. And that's why you're going to get my download my free ebook. Okay. So I'm going to put that link in the chat for you guys to do that. All right. Let's start putting the links. I see you guys are here. I want you to download my free ebook while you are here. Please download my free ebook. There's the link. I'm also going to put another link in the chat. I'm doing an event tomorrow. Balance your liver chi. Okay. Did we put that on there? Oh, it says it's too many characters. Let's see. All right. So what I'm going to do, it's already in my link tree. So let's put it here. I want you to come to my event tomorrow. I have actually 2 events, gut health and the liver. All right. And what did we just talk about? All right. Gut health and the liver. So you're going to see that there. Well, how do we do? How do we do? Any questions? Any questions at all? Be sure to download the free ebook so that you can join the liver flush community, the Flush Your Liver Challenge community. You can join that. I am going to put another link. Well, not a link, but my gut health event. Now, the Balance Your Liver Chi and the gut health event is all under the same link, which is the link tree. So you see it says link tree to all links. And that is it. So that's where you're going to find it. All right. So make sure you're downloading the book. We've been live for 44 minutes. All right. So those of you who are watching the replay, thank you so much. It has been really, really fun sharing this information with you and really giving you valuable tools, but not just valuable tools for you to know that you're not a victim anymore and that you know exactly how your body is operating on an internal level. That it's really not looking at this as a disease, but it's looking at this as what is the body really, really trying to tell you, trying to convey to you on a cellular level, and ways that you can revive your cells from sleep, from pain, right? From just agony. And that is part of that reviving your cells is the Juice Plus. All right. I'm going to put that link in there too, so that you can have access to ordering your own Juice Plus. All right. Now, I did see a couple people, if you want, just put in the chat Omega and I will get that link for you. All right. I want you to have this. I want you to have this. All right. So let's put that link. Get your Omegas And I appreciate you guys for staying this long. Appreciate that. All right. It may not be a clickable link. Oh, there it is. It is. Okay. So those are all of the links that I have for you. We are going to get ready to end this live, but family, thank you so much for your kind attention. Again, for all of my people that have been with me for like years, thank you for being along with the ride and staying staying on this journey, right? As we rebrand, as we do anew and refresh, because I see a demand in this department. And as I said in the beginning of this live, I wish that there was someone who spoke the same language that I'm speaking to you that spoke to my mother when she was in her 30s and she was working at 9 to 5. And when you're working like that every day, that is stressful. I mean, you don't even have time to just decompress. The commute alone wipes you out. Then you get to work, you're wiped out. You get home, plus the commute home. I mean, it's like a never ending cycle. And so, this is why I've designed my programs. Even the Flush Your Liver Challenge is designed for the 9 to 5 woman. And it's designed for the 9 to 5 man as well. And we have a lot of men in our group. Okay, we do have a lot of men in our group. So, fellas, if you are watching, you can flush your liver too. Don't feel left out. It's just this is the topic of tonight, and this is what we are addressing. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget again to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video.